Welcome to day 2 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the second and final day in the April Open Test for the Indianapolis 500. You may notice a much more positive note to my vocal tones today, and as you can see, it's because it's been a beautiful weather day, well, at least at the end of it, and more importantly, a safe day. Now, as I left you yesterday, there were concerns about the pit warm-up lane here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The reason for that concern was a sealer or a sealant that was put onto that warm-up lane. Now that sealant, which you have noticed probably since around 2017, 2018, darkens the track, and that's why the track has changed colors. It's a way to preserve the asphalt that is already laid down. I think it was laid down around 2004, 2005. And that's a way that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has kept the grip up on the surface and also preserved that asphalt. They don't always put that sealant onto the warm-up lane. So they did that this year, last fall, and when they came back here, they weren't expecting any problems because they tested the grip in the fall, and it was fine. Well, they come back here, and obviously we had the spins and crashes yesterday, which canceled practice early. So we came back today after the Indianapolis Motor Speedway spent all night using tire dragons and other methods to grip up that surface. They came out here, tested the grip level, and it suited the teams fine. So ultimately, once the weather passed, unfortunately it was raining quite a bit today, or at least this morning, but by 2 p.m. the skies brightened. It got much lighter out here. The track temps came up and the speeds came up. Around 229 miles an hour. We didn't quite see that fabulous 230 mile per hour mark, but a much faster day, I think, than most of us were expecting today. And again, more importantly, perhaps, not only a fast day, a safe day. And that's, you know, I always go into these tests. I mean, I go into every race weekend, but especially here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you want to see everything be safe and sound, and all the drivers go home safe and sound to their families and friends, and that's what we had today. So let's take a look at the results for today's practice session. The only addition to this will be the 32nd car to take times this weekend, Elio Castroneves. Castroneves did not take part in activities today. Ultimately, that crash yesterday left the Indy 500 winning chassis with a lot of repair work, and because Meyer-Shank Racing is an Ohio-based team, the 06 car did not make laps. So let's take a look at the results from today's session. Joseph Newgarden, Team Penske, a big number, 229.5 miles per hour. Takuma Sato in second place, also in that 229 mile per hour bracket. Didn't quite get to Joseph Newgarden there in the cool, shady conditions, but only two cars over 229 miles an hour. Takuma Sato, two-time winner. Joseph Newgarden, 0 as of now. Another driver with, ironically, one Indianapolis 500 win, Tony Kanaan at 228.7 miles per hour. Tony, you know he always brings his best. Only doing one race this year to go with the one theme, but Kanaan, you know, is always so fast here, really showing it. Speaking of showing it, Ganassi just across the board. You're going to be hearing a lot about them. Scott Dixon put in a fast time right at the end, 228.6. Scott McLaughlin feeling very confident. His team and he feeling good and confident going into May after today. 5th place on the board. Another driver we always see put up a big number, Marco Andretti. I have to shout out the purple livery on his car. I think I colored it dark blue yesterday. 228.1. Alex Palou also in the 228 mile per hour bracket, the final driver in that speed bracket. Jimmy Johnson put in the work today in the number 48 car, 138 total laps, a top speed of 227.9 miles per hour. At times he was in the grass, but he ultimately really looked good today, I have to tell you. And I think Jimmy was the second most lap runner today, looking at my chart, so that was good for Jimmy Johnson. Felix Rosenquist in 9th. I can tell you that the Aero McLaren SP cars looked really good in traffic. In fact, right at the end of the session, Pato Award made a move on Hello right at the checkered flag, so maybe that's a preview for the month of May. Marcus Ericsson showing that Ganassi muscle in 10th. We move on to outside of the top 10. Still in that 227-mile-an-hour bracket, Simon Pagenaud, Santino Ferrucci, and Sage Karam. Karam you'll hear from later on in this video. The Dreyer Reinbold team, I'll tell you what, they absolutely came to play. I think they are going to be a serious factor in deciding the Indianapolis 500 this year. Will Power, Team Penske. You don't often get to say that Will Power is the slowest of the Team Penske drivers, again in the 227-mile-per-hour bracket. But again, I think after last year, Will Power is happy to be in the top half of those speed charts. Rinus VeeKay, who was actually at one point on the top of the charts with that 227.1, but it puts him 15th on the board. 16 cars were over 227 miles an hour today. Romain Grosjean, in his rookie Indianapolis 500 attempt, was the final of those in 16th place. Of course, Jimmy, the fastest rookie today. Callum Ilott continues to impress, and I keep remembering that the Callum Ilott car is the Penske-prepared Paretta Autosport car from last year, so you'd kind of expect that that car is fast, but you also think about the last time Juncos really had a new and well-prepared car here in 2019. They ultimately crashed it, but there would have been no bump day story if they'd had that primary car. Connor Daly, who actually is the only driver who showed up today who did not go faster than he did yesterday at 226.5. Devlin DeFrancesco put in the work today and looked quite good at times, though he did have a slight brush with the wall. Jack Harvey and Pato Award, like I mentioned, Award in 21st position was looking quite good in traffic. You have to, kind of take some of these times with a grain of salt, because as you look down through the field, like rookie David Malukas, Alexander Rossi, Graham Rahal, I know for a fact was doing a lot of things for Honda yesterday. So a lot of these guys were not going for outright speed. J.R. Hildebrand, I think, at least up until the end of the day, had the fastest no-toe speed, and I think that 225.6 was around about what he was able to do by himself. Kyle Kirkwood, you'll hear from him later today. In fact, all the A.J. Foyt cars all together, Dalton Kellett down there as well. Colton Herta only at 224 miles per hour. Christian Lundgaard didn't look all that confident. I heard that from a couple of people. I hope he can turn it around before May. And it's interesting to see Ed Carpenter and Juan Pablo Montoya at the back of the speed charts. All of that experience coming into play. I think, again, you look at those two and I think they will be quick towards the end of the month. Don't worry about it. So now that we have taken a look at the times today, let's hear from two drivers, Sage Karam and Kyle Kirkwood. I almost forgot his name. That American guy who drives for Foyt that's not named J.R. Hildebrand. Those two interviews were the only ones I was able to get today. It was a hectic day. Everybody wants to leave. I mean, ultimately, when you have 2 days that are delayed and there's really no reason to stick around, it's understandable. No one wanted to show up for a 9 a.m. bullpen when it's raining, so that's totally understandable. I think you'll enjoy these two interviews.
It feels great. It feels great to be back in an Indy car and back with Dreyer Reinbold Racing. Have AES back on the side of the car again for a second year in a row is pretty amazing. So we had a great day. I think for us it was more or less just make sure the cars are in a good window, knock the rust off me. I've been fortunate enough to stay busy this year racing some Xfinity stuff. So, I feel like I'm more in race mode when I get here, which I feel like helped me get up to speed a bit quicker today. So, yeah, things feel pretty good.
Santino Ferrucci added to the team. Both of you guys in the top 10 last year on part-time, efforts, kind of similar to this, but you guys have come out of the box looking really strong. Tell me about his addition to the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have a teammate, obviously, and it's great to have a teammate that runs well here. He got 6 last year, I got 7, so we were battling there right at the end of the race, and to be on the same team now, and he's coming from the Rahal stable, which always has good cars here, so I was really interested to see what he thought about the package we had, and he seems to like it. So it's pretty cool that we went out there today and we're 12th and 13th, and we finished 6th and 7th last year. So that shows that the cars are consistent and they're running well, and we're working well together.
Anything in particular you were working on today?
I think honestly it's just mostly traffic running. I think that you saw the speeds were pretty big today for like opening. I mean this isn't opening day, but pretty much is like opening day. But I think the speeds are pretty big. The track feels like it's got a lot of grip, and the drafts were pretty mega. So Does it, I I don't know how much faster we could have gone. I think we definitely were on a pretty decent lap. Had a really good draft, but at the end of the day, it's not really about like the speed right now. It's just like getting that comfort level in traffic, and that's what we really worked on, especially right at the end there. Like happy hour, we just did like 3 sets of tires, bunch of changes, and got it in a pretty good window.
Yeah, so I mean, yesterday we did the ROP, got through that. I think I missed probably 2 laps that weren't inside the bracket that we needed, so I got up to speed pretty quick, you could say. But today was a ton of fun. We didn't get any traffic running yesterday, but we came into today and literally the entire day we just ran in traffic, which it's a completely different animal when you start doing that. So we've been tuning the car here and there. We definitely got it in in a really happy place, I think, towards the end of the day, but we're still playing with things. We go back and forth, but I'm not sure where we ended up time-wise, but we're pretty far back, to be honest, but a lot of that's just due to who's getting drafts, because like if I wanted to, I could back way off of a group of 8 cars and then just get a massive tow on them, run flat for 1 lap, and then be on their gearbox coming across the finish line, right, and go quick, which I think a lot of people probably did that, but we were solely just trying to figure out our car in traffic, and we feel like we're making headway for sure. What were some of the biggest learning experiences for you the last few days? Maybe things you weren't expecting to learn? Well, here I'd say it's a lot different than Texas in the way that, I mean, the banking helps you so much at Texas. Like it saves you in a sense that like if you do something wrong, you catch the banking and it's fine. And here it's like if you miss it by not even a foot, you're like understeering straight, and it feels like, and that wall comes at you a lot quicker than a big long oval, right? It's actually 4 corners. So that was something new. I get behind people, get into their wake, and my car's taking off on me, which is an all new thing to me that I've never felt before. Yeah, I noticed. I was unfortunately in turn 2 when you had one of those big moments. Jimmy passed you on the grass down there. Tell me a little bit about that moment. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly who I was behind at the time, but I was testing new lines, and my line the entire day has been down low, down low, down low, and my spotter, who's also my driver coach, Jonathan George, up in turn 3, had been telling me, he's like, start slowing your hands down on entry. That's what everyone's doing. Tried slowing my hands down a little bit, and I just ended up in the middle of his wake, and from the entry of the corner, and the front just sailed up on me, and I just had to get out of the throttle. But once that happens, the wall starts coming at you really fast. So it's definitely sketchy in that sense, and that was an all-new learning curve for me. Ready for May? I think so. Yeah, well, we got Barber and Indy GP before we come back here and start pounding some laps, but it was a cool start up for the month of May. And I figured since I think it was pretty successful yesterday to end the video with Darian Gilliam from the Black Flags Matter YouTube channel. So this is it's so cool. It has been so cool to have you here and to experience everything for the first time. One of the interesting things you said to me that I really took note of, and honestly, I was surprised by it too, but you were really surprised by it, were how many fans came out to this thing. Now, I need to remind everybody, fans weren't allowed in this test last year. So to see, and I know it was a free day, but they opened up a concession stand, and there was probably, 200 people at least down there. What was that like? I mean, the passion of the Indiana fans.
Man, it's unbelievable, man. The people of Indiana love their racing, man. Whether it's NASCAR, IndyCar, USAC, any type of racing, they will come out. And I learned that firsthand today because I was just looking at these crowds and stuff, and I was like, wow, just for a freaking test in April. I mean, I know it's for the Indy 500. I get all that, but we're not even officially in the month of May yet. And we had so many fans out there today. It was a blast.
Yeah, the support level, I mean, is just awesome to see. And I think it states the strength of this race, right? Mm-hmm. When you just say, we're testing, and people will come out. That's what I keep saying about testing is like, people want to see the race cars on track. Nobody benefits from simulators. We want to see the cars on track. And today, the weather could not have been more perfect. It was great track conditions too, Darian, and I think that was one thing that I think we kind of looked at because, you said a few interesting things to me, particularly about Jimmy Johnson. You were kind of looking at the lap times and going, wow, he did a great lap. But it's like you have to put 200 of those together for the race. Mm-hmm. So it was fun to see those long runs, I think, and to see who was quick on the long run. I think we talked to Kyle Kirkwood, and he had an interesting comment, as my viewers have heard, and maybe you haven't, that the longer it went, the more he learned about the handling. So what is kind of your impression to see those really long runs, particularly those big packs that we saw at the end of the day that were just, oh my, they scared me, and I've seen quite a bit of
that
racing
was
here.
different. I mean, like, and you were even saying like, oh yeah, around this time, this is the weather conditions towards the end of the Indy 500 too, and it was just amazing, like seeing 10, 12 Indy cars in person in a pack going around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Oh my goodness, man. Like, I mean, I thought yesterday's test session was a blast, but man, this one blew it out of the water, man. And then having perfect conditions too, that was also another plus as well. I mean, yesterday it was just really windy and stuff. It was like raining and stuff. And we had that this morning, but then all of a sudden the skies cleared and we got some spectacular
This was the most
testing.
Indiana day I've ever experienced, because it was just, it could not have been more miserable to start the day.
Yeah.
But then we get into the late hours and it's like,
All of a sudden, yeah.
Chamber of Commerce weather. And you mentioned the conditions, and that was something that I kind of brought up, is that, you know, we saw so much running today because of the fact that, number one, the testing started right about when the Indy 500 would be finishing with an on-time start. And then you have cool conditions, cool track conditions. You know, this is perfect for speed, it's perfect for drafting, it's perfect for passing. So it was the greatest combination of all those things to kind of produce the show that we saw today. My final question for you is, coming away from this, what do you take away from it? And what are you looking forward to seeing in May? Whether you give him press credentials for month of May, or just watching it on Peacock.
I can't wait, man. I mean, like, look, I've kept track with the Indy 500 and stuff, but I don't think I really realized like how much testing and stuff really goes into it. I mean, I understand that you do, you know, the practice sessions, you know, like a couple weeks and a week leading up to the race and stuff, but I had no clue they did testing this early too. And then also, I mean, we're gonna see some differences with some of the cars and stuff. I mean, Helio Castroneves couldn't practice today, so
and that will probably set them back.
They're a full day behind, and I mean, yesterday, I mean, you saw the reaction yesterday. He was like, "Oh man, like this is the race-winning car from last year."
Yeah.
You know, so and then you saw some other guys, running into problems yesterday. But man, I cannot wait for the month of May. It is going to be spectacular.
Same, but we still have a few more things to go before then. We have the Barber Motorsports Park race. I think it's next. God, is it next week?
Yeah.
Next week
So
at Barber
fast.
Motorsports Park. Or no, it's 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
Wait, no, it's 2 weekends from now, because I keep forgetting this isn't a weekend. We got coverage from Barber, regardless, coming up next week, as Kyle says. Kyle won't be there, but Kyle will be at the Grand Prix of Indianapolis, and of course, the Indianapolis 500. This is going to be, I mean, this is prime time for this channel, and I hope you guys are excited to be along for the ride. Hopefully we'll see Darian in the month of May, and if you guys liked Darian being a part of this coverage, let me know down in the comments section below. Let him know especially too, and subscribe to his channel. So thank you guys so much for watching. All is right with the world. We're here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Indy cars have been on the track, and it's a perfect day. I hope you guys have had a good day, enjoyed the coverage, and we'll see you in the next video.